Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Saturday, May 2nd, 2020. We just finished the year of April. I don't know about you, but man, this has been one crazy time. I'm pretty sure that's true for everybody on this planet right now, but yeah, April has felt about a year long. The last 2 weeks in Pennsylvania have been a little rough. Not so much because of the pandemic, but it's just been raining almost every single day. Rainy, cloudy, windy. We had a cold snap where it felt more like winter than spring. But as they say, April showers bring May flowers. And this is my first decent venture out in almost 2 weeks. And the world's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty green. I see some flowers on the trees, some growing on the side of the road. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. My weather app said 70 degrees. My truck thermometer currently says 72, although the truck has been sitting out in the sun. It may be a little bit overstated. I'm taking a drive up to, well, trying not, that guy almost ran the center line there. People make me nervous. I always feel like they're texting, not watching where they're going. Okay, try it again. I am driving up to Lehigh Gap Nature Center just to go for a walk on the D&L Trail. I'm hoping that their parking lot is open. The D&L Trail has been basically unaffected for the most part by these closures, although some parks have closed. I'll get into more specifics about that, but for now, I just want to change the scenery today. There's parts of the the D&L Trail along the Lehigh River. I've been trying to regularly walk the segments closer to home. They really don't want us traveling too far, and I've complied with that pretty well. And I mean, you've seen the videos. It's an absolutely beautiful trail. I love it very much. Today's a little windy. I actually really wanted to ride my bike, but today's kind of windy. I don't like biking in the wind. Conversely, if I stuck to the parts of the trail near me, because they tend to be wooded and they tend to be cut through those rocky passes, they're actually somewhat sheltered from the wind, which a lot of times actually make that a good choice on a windy day. But I gotta admit, we just finished week 7 of quarantine, with many more to go, and I think I'm finally starting to get a case of cabin fever. I mean, it's actually a little crazy that it's taken me that long, but the reason I'm going up to Lehigh Gap today, I just really want some openness around me. I want to be able to see the horizon and see some views that go a little further than 50 feet in front of me. We just passed Indian Trail Park. Little interesting historical note, and someday I'll make a bigger video about it. There used to be an amusement park right there. Had this been a couple decades ago, there would have been a little wooden roller coaster you would have seen. I mean, crazy to think that there would have been an amusement park somewhere out like here. I mean, this was before the days of, big chains like Six Flags and, Busch Gardens and Cedar Fair and all them, but, yeah, that's something I'll do another video on another time. I moved up here, by the time I moved up here, the amusement park was long gone, but, it's an interesting historical footnote. We are now on 248. There's 2 main ways to get up to Lehigh Gap from Northampton. One is to take 145, which is actually the easier way. The other is to take 248, which kind of parallels it. I mean, they eventually meet right before the gap. And I'll tell you the reason I chose this path today is because I have a couple videos in the queue, and one of them is just a driving video set to music of me taking 145. So, and that's probably the next video I'm going to post. I'll probably post that middle of next week. So I'm going the other way today. I'm taking 248 just so that you're not going to be watching the same drive twice. I already have the other drive edited and ready to go. So, Anyway, you'll get to see something different today. Slow down for this guy. I think people have been in quarantine too long. I think they're forgetting how to drive. So what else is going on? Obviously, you're listening to me. I hope I sound good. It's funny, there's some days I barely talk. When I started this video, I hope I remembered how. Apparently I do. So I gotta work on the knowing when to stop talking a bit. You know, I'm in good health. No problems at all. You know, I'm dealing with Lehigh Valley allergies in the spring. That's pretty common. If anything, they've been a little milder this year, I think, because I live up in the hills more. And on a typical day, this is Blue Mountain Drive, by the way. If we turned right, we'd go up to the ski resort. Not skiing today, it's a little too warm. Yeah, I work, you know, where I work in downtown Allentown, that's like in the heart of the valley, and it tends to trap all the smog and pollutants and irritants and pollen and everything. So I tend to have a bit of a worse problem down there, so I've been breathing a little easier. So I'm doing good. The bad news is the state of Pennsylvania as a whole is not doing so good. I know most of my viewers are in other parts of the country. I have no idea what the news coverage by you is like, but I'm sure you're hearing a lot more about New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia. All of our neighbors to the east and south are getting absolutely hammered. New York City is obviously the hot spot of all hot spots. New Jersey's not faring so good. Philadelphia's having its struggles. But we in the Lehigh Valley are probably not getting the same kind of press, but Lehigh Valley and the Poconos are unfortunately not that far behind our neighbors to the east and south in terms of number of coronavirus cases. It came out last week that unfortunately Allentown is actually the hottest of all hot spots in Pennsylvania in terms of cases per capita. They're higher than Philadelphia right now. And that's not a good thing. I mean, they release daily numbers of new cases and other assorted data. The last couple of weeks, the data is plateauing with a slight downward trend, but we're not seeing that sharp decline that's really needed to reopen things. So what Governor Wolf did, I mean, there is a little bit of easing here, more in other parts of the state. What he announced recently was a reopening plan where they're going to go by county and possibly, or I guess by county and by region. You take groups of counties, they make a region. There's 67 counties in Pennsylvania. And 24 of them, he announced yesterday, will be moving to the next phase of the plan next Friday. So what he's color-coded things as, it's a red, yellow, green plan. Right now, the entire state of Pennsylvania is red. That's a total lockdown, or I should say near total lockdown. I'm obviously not locked down at home, but it's essential travel only. And I will point out that driving to a trail to exercise and walk is among the list of permissible activities. So, you know, I'm the kind of person, I like to follow the rules. Well, I don't necessarily like to follow the rules, but I do follow the rules. And I'm not breaking any rules here. I just want to be clear about that. The entire state, all 67 counties, is currently in what they consider the red condition. 24 counties next week will be moving to yellow. What that means is non-essential businesses can open provided they follow protocols and safety measures and whatnot. They're still not going to allow large gatherings like sports, concerts, even movie theaters will be closed. Although I'm not sure if you saw, we just passed a drive-in movie theater, Becky's Drive-In. From what I understand, drive-ins are going to be allowed to reopen. Not 100% sure on that, but you think about it, if you sit in your car and you're not too close to the car next to you, you're probably safe. But anyway, the 24 counties that are, quote, moving to yellow next Friday, they're all in the northwest part of the state. Let's face it, not a lot of people live there. And they've had very, very low case counts. It's a very very mountainous, very rustic, beautiful part of the state. Not a lot of people live there. There's not a lot of cities, you know. At best you get a small town that makes it look like we're in a metropolis here. The Lehigh Valley is nowhere near even getting moved to yellow. When the yellow areas get moved to green, that'll basically mean not the total end to the restrictions, but life will more or less be back to normal. Nobody's going to green yet. Nobody knows the time frame for that. But we here in the Lehigh Valley have basically been told, yeah, you're going to be the last to go to yellow, let alone green. So as I said earlier, we're 7 weeks into quarantine, and yeah, it's not letting up anytime soon. And that's kind of getting to me a little bit. I mean, I think I've done pretty well up to this point. You know, I keep busy. I like my home. I like where I live. But, you know, we're hitting the time of year. You really just want to be out doing stuff this time of year. So, you know, I'll keep you guys updated on that. Here's the intersection where I mentioned the other way, 145 meets. The video I'm going to post next week, you know, I'll approach from the left, make the left turn onto 248, which we're on now, and then the video, I think it goes a little bit through the gap still. I'm going to turn off here. I'm actually going to use the parking lot. Like I said, I hope it's open, and I also hope it's not overcrowded. I've never parked here before, but on some of my bike rides years ago, I've taken note of it and said, hey, there's a lot of parking there. That might be a good place to go. Even in this part of PA, there was some things that reopened May 1st, which is yesterday. Construction is allowed to resume. That's been really good news for a lot of people. It's a big industry in this state. Northampton County parks have reopened. You haven't seen too many of those from me yet, but I do have a video in the queue that was filmed at Bicentennial Park in Hanover Township. That's down towards Bethlehem. That park, which I like to go walking there, that's been closed for about 6 weeks, I think. Hey, look at that. There's a Nissan Skyline over there. I don't know if you saw that. A black Nissan Skyline being worked on. There we go. The other week I had a false alarm thinking I saw one. Now I just really saw one. I'll try to point it out when I edit the video. So anyway, Northampton County parks are reopening despite this area still being on, you know, more or less full lockdown. That's good news. Private campgrounds are going to be allowed to reopen. I'm not sure if it was yesterday or if that's part of the next Friday thing. Private campgrounds will reopen. Doesn't help me much. I don't have an RV yet, but for those of you who do, I wouldn't advise anybody travel here, but it is an option. They are going to be open. The state parks are not. The state park campgrounds are not reopening. Oh boy, I have a feeling this is going to be crowded. This might not work out here. Yeah, other things reopening. Golf courses are going to reopen. I don't golf. That doesn't help me at all. Apparently guided fishing tours. I didn't realize that was a big thing in PA, or even a thing at all. They're going to be allowed to reopen. It doesn't help me at all. It's not something I'm interested in doing. Hard to see if I'm even going to be able to get a space here. There's some spots, but they look a little narrow for the truck. Yeah. And see, that's a problem I've seen in recent weekends on this trail. And that's actually the other reason I guess I could park here. That's the other reason I didn't go to my usual spots. I went out walking, I think 2 weekends ago, 2 Sundays ago, near Treichler's. And they have a very big parking area. Hold on, I'm just watching cars behind me here. I don't know. There's a weird line forming behind me. Anyway, all of the parking in Treichler's was taken up. I actually got the last spot when I went for the walk that Sunday, and I gotta be honest, even though that's one of my favorite parts of the trail, I didn't enjoy the walk all that much. And the reason being was it was actually kind of crowded, and it was kind of, I thought, tense. I mean, I go for these walks to get away from the world, to be honest. It's, yes, it's fresh air, sunshine, and physical activity, but I also like to do them because it's a quiet place that I could do some nice thinking. So I didn't get much thinking done. Anyway, I went back and walked the next day on the Monday, and it was a totally different world. I had the trail to myself. Actually, that was the bike ride, not the walk on the Monday. Anyway, I'm rambling. I have some more stuff I wanted to cover, but you know what? I'm here. I'm going to take my walk. I'm going to be heading north through Lehigh Gap towards Bowmanstown. I won't make it as far as Bowmanstown. I'll take some photos and videos on the walk. I think I'll just end up making that a separate video. I'll end this one here, and then I'll make another one after the walk for the drive home to chat about the rest of the things I wanted to chat about. So thank you for coming along for the ride, and let's go have ourselves a nice walk.